I met a gypsy.
That was when I first met you, pal, at 2010, and then we went to MX of Nations in Colorado. I rode
Which
for
was
Team
your debut.
GB. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I rode for
debut
Team
for Great
Canada.
Britain and-
Yeah, debut for Team
Oh,
Great
yeah.
Britain, but I rode for Canada the year before, but I was still an amateur. So I rode for Great Britain in 2010, and so I remember it was Friday, and you and Walters, and there was a big crew of yous, and yous all went out that night on Friday. And me being a good boy, I was in bed, and I had qualifying the next day. But yous were with some girls, and I was like, oh man. And I was with Bogle. Justin was staying with me for the weekend. So I was like, I was a bit of a menace back then. And so I was like, Justin, let's go out there. Let's go check it out. Like, we were not drinking or nothing. We're just going to go out, check out the scenes. And so we go out. It's the night before MX of Nations. Like, such a dumb idea. So we go out, and we're going out the hotel, and we go to walk through the lobby, and Mitch is there drinking beer in the lobby. I'm like, oh no, we can't go out here. So we take the fire exit. We go down the fire exit, take the back door, and then we're off. So we go and we meet you down there, and we're like in a club, and we're just checking it out, you know, and like we're just vibing, we're having a good time, and I don't know, it got late. That's all I know. And it's quite funny. I held the story for a long time. I never told anyone this story. And then everything was good. I was going to make it fine. Obviously, I wasn't drinking or anything, but it was late. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm driving all you drunk people back. And then I passed this cop, remember? And then Walters is like, oh, you're good, bro. You're good. He's like, don't even worry about it. Right as he says that, the cop lights me up. Thank God, obviously, I wasn't drinking. I'm like, first thing that comes to my mind is my mom and dad are going to kill me. I'm like, I'm dead. So I'm sweating it. I got a ticket for speeding. It was like 10 over or something. And I'm like, oh, how am I going to tell them this one? So yeah, next day was qualifier. Come out the start, got pushed off. Rear wheel got wrapped up in that green fence. Remember that? Yeah. And I DNF'd the qualifier. And I'm like, this is what I get for being an idiot all weekend. Like, this is what I get. So anyways, race day comes, and I actually rode really good on race day. We got P4 overall, but I rode well, good enough to spell the news to my mom. Do you remember? We're sitting underneath the Alpine Star. We're eating, and then I'm like, I think I spiced the story a little bit. I was like, hey mom, so I got something to tell you. You
definitely spiced the story.
I was like, I got something to tell you. She's like, what's that? I was like, well, I was in bed. Jase calls me, and he was drunk and he picked up. So me being the nice guy I am, I went into town and picked him up. Drove back, and I got a speeding ticket. And then I think she was quite upset. And then when she found out what time it was, she was really upset. But hey, that's what makes the good stories, you know?
Hey, and
Jay, the things I did for you.
Sitting there. Oh, bro, I remember sitting there and hearing the story of like what went down, and what went down was Dean basically threw me in front of a semi truck and just watched me cartwheel down the road.
Pretty
I
much.
was just like, yeah, I'm really sorry that I asked him to come and pick me up, and I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
So like in 2 weeks, your parents first, and like. The story is so believable because 2 weeks prior, your mum literally rescued me from sleeping in the parlor car park. So I just looked like the most Darrow piece of shit that was trying to lead you astray. And I just took it. I was like, all right, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was good.
Funny times.
That was good. Yeah, that was good times. I had a lot of good times in my younger years for sure. A lot of funny stories, you know.
Yeah, dude. Nah, that was like one of the.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying, like after that week. No, you go.
Okay. No, I was just saying, like, I have so many funny stories. Like, I had such a good group of people around me when I was like rookie year to like the first 4 years were pretty. We just had a great time, you know. I made the most of my my youth, and it was good. We're doing well. We're winning races. We're having fun, and it was good times for sure. And had a good group around me. It was fun. But when I look back at it, sorry, when I look back at it though, like I'm glad I really made the most of it, you know, like I obviously worked my butt off riding and training, and you know, that was never an issue for me. But I'm just glad that when I look back, like I really made the most of it, you know. So it was a fun ride for sure back in like the PC days and stuff. Definitely had a few talks with Mitch in his office, but it's all right. Mitch was cool because he was like kind of just like a father figure to me. Like the way he spoke to me was like how my dad would speak to me, you know, like pull your fucking head out your ass. Like, what are you doing? Like, and I liked that because it felt normal. And when Roger DeCoster would kind of be upset with me or talk to me, like he wouldn't say anything. And that was worse. That would like stress me out. And like, you know, I liked when Mitch would just like tell me how it was, right? And then pull your head out your ass type thing. And I liked that because that's how my dad was. And it, you know, yeah. So it was funny.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely, I mean, you were never like drinking too much and like, you know, carrying on in that sort of way. And I think that the scene was kind of like that in a way. Like, I feel like there was still, I remember going to after parties after Supercross, and like that, those first couple of years was so much fun. And then it sort of changed a bit. It felt like, because I remember like, dude, I remember crazy shit like Kenny in Oakland. Like, I won't fully tell the story, but like Kenny was like blind in Oakland one time, and I was like chasing him around Oakland when he's still in the lights class. He's smoking everybody. Mm-hmm. And then after the races, like he's just absolutely fucking going.
I don't know if I would like to go out in Oakland. Bit sketchy over there. And that's what I was trying to,
bro, that's what I'm like trying to get in his head. I'm like, bro, this ain't fucking Dusseldorf, all right? Like, we need to respect where we are right now. Yeah. But I don't know. And even when I was talking to Tommy on the podcast, it was sort of, he had the same thing. Like, we had so much fun, but I think a lot of it was because social media wasn't around as much as what it is now. Like, it was a little bit different. People were still posting their alarm clock and sunrises. Like, there was no stories. I don't know. The vibe was different, and it felt like people were down to kind of party a little bit at least.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like really a massive party guy, but I loved to go out, and I had one thing on my mind. You know what I mean? I was just young and hungry. And I'll never forget 2010. It was my rookie year, so I was 18, and PC went 1 through 4 at Vegas, and I actually should have won that race. I went from like 4th to 2nd. Last lap, I went 2nd back to 4th, but PC boys are over the moon. They won West Coast and East Coast, I think, with Weimer and Purcell. I'm pretty sure. And then it was me and Hanny. So we went 1 through 4, and then the team is just over the moon. Such a good year for them. And then, so I'm 18, rookie year. I'm like, oh, I'm going to this monster party. Like, I didn't even know how I was going to get in, but I was a man on a mission to get into this thing. So we get there, and then I'm with my cousin and stuff, who's from Scotland, and with some family, and I'm standing outside the door, and I'm just sussing the situation. You know, I'm 18, I've got my chain on, my monster hat, I got my True Religions on, like, I'm ready to rock. And the team's just like, they were just on a sweet one. So I remember I'm like kind of watching the door guys, and they're checking IDs. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, how am I going to make this happen? So I remember there was like a group, like Chad Reed and Ash from Monster and everyone, like there was a pack of them, and I just weaseled my way into the middle of it, and just, you know, it kind of got a little like clustered and crazy, and I got into the party. And I remember I was just in there dancing up a storm, like pretty much first time in a nightclub in Vegas. Had a good night of racing, dancing with all the monster chicks, this and that. I'm just like, oh, I'll never forget that night. Tommy was there, everyone was there. It was just, I'll never forget that. That was so funny. But that was just good times back then.
And there's always like a group around you that's a little bit older than you that can like kind of mentor you, like Tommy. So you got like, you're young, got zero experience, but there's always a couple guys around you that can like get you up to speed.
And I was pretty innocent back then. So like, I went to the party. I didn't I literally had like 12 Monsters. I didn't drink. I had Monster in like a cup, so it looked like I was drinking, but I was just like pounding Monsters. And I'm losing my train of thought here. Oh, that's where I was going. I was pounding Monsters the whole time, and they ripped the sleeves off my shirt, and I'm like sweating from the dance floor. Like I was dancing all night, and it was just funny. Like the whole like, if you seen me, you'd be like, oh, he is on a sick one right now. But I was actually like, I woke up the next morning and drove home. But it was just like such a good time, and like that was the thing that was funny with Mitch. Like if you were doing your job, you're putting in the results. He didn't care what you did. As long as you put in the work, got that bike on the podium, he was happy.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.